And we're joined by, for this special UK-USA episode, Ron Harris.
Thank you for that awesome introduction.
Are you not going to clap? You're not going to clap yourself, or?
No, I'll clap. Sure. I have some very, very large shoes to fill. How big do you think AJ's feet are? Probably about that big.
Size 26.
What? 26?
26. Yeah. He's actually got flippers.
Like Sasquatch. Okay. Yeah. Glad to be here, guys.
Yeah, Ron, obviously you're standing in for AJ because obviously we've got a bit of a global situation going on with the pandemic. AJ can't fly. I think Norway's on lockdown, isn't it? Norway's on lockdown, so he can't even leave the house. All the gyms are shut. So he's climbing the walls right now. So yeah.
Well, your UK is also on lockdown, correct?
Yeah, we're kind of on partial lockdown, sort of. Yeah, it's because the Brits are a little bit slow to respond, I think, but. Because it was only about 10 days ago, I had friends from Italy, Patrick Tour in Rome, and Emilio Martinez in Spain, and he was saying that they were kind of saying that I was being a bit flippant and that the UK weren't taking it seriously, and I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit, but they are kind of like 2 weeks ahead of us, you know, and
contagion-wise.
Yeah, if you look at the if you look on the graph of the you know how much it spreads. It's you know, but I think we're starting to realize now just how serious this is. I mean, we're pretty much partial lockdown. I think you're still allowed to go for food, medicine, or key workers. So what's it like in America then?
Yeah, you know, if the UK was slow to respond, we're like snails in this situation.
Right.
You know, everyone's saying all the authorities on contagious diseases said the only way we're going to get this handled, and it's almost too late now, is Trump should have announced a national lockdown. Everybody stay home, shelter in place for 2 weeks. You know, obviously, if you need medical care, you got to go get medical care. Most people can buy enough food and supplies to stay indoors for 2 weeks and not have to leave their homes.
Yeah.
But we're not doing that. It's a state-by-state situation. Most states are on either a full lockdown or a partial lockdown. Like we've closed down all non-essential businesses here in my state.
Yeah.
You're not going to be arrested if you leave your house, but they're encouraging everyone stay home, stay away from anybody except your immediate family.
Yeah.
You know, avoid all contact because it's going to get very, very scary here in certain places. Like I've seen projections of New York City of what that's going to be like in about a week or so, and it's very, very frightening. It's straight out of one of those sci-fi outbreak movies.
Yeah.
They're going to be in very, very rough shape in New York City very soon.
Well, I had my last workout on last Friday, what was the date last Friday? Or whatever last Friday.
13th?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
20th.
So
20th.
And I saw on your Facebook that you hadn't been to the gym for like 2 weeks or something now? Because you've been training at home, haven't you?
No, my gym was open until, was it this Monday? No, what's today? Yeah, we shut down
Wednesday.
After last Monday was the last day that we were open.
Wednesday.
So it's been a week and 2 days of no Bayshore Athletic Club for me. I miss that place so much already.
So you've been training at home then, haven't you?
Sporadically, but you know what? I did a YouTube live video for MD because you know so many people are crying and feeling terrible that they can't go to the gym. I pointed out some upsides to it. I'll go just quickly. First of all, most of you guys are overtrained. So you needed a break, and you were never going to give yourselves a break. That was my situation. Training at home, you're not as motivated. You're not, I got to go to the gym. I want to be around all those people and check out the girls and the music and all these different machines. So you're going to work out less. You're going to get your workouts done fast. You're saving time not going to the gym. You're recovering. Your joints are getting a little break from. I don't have hundreds and hundreds of pounds of weight here at home, and most of these people don't. So overall, yeah, it sucks you can't go to the gym because we all love the gym. That's our place of. That's where we get our sanctity, where we keep our sanity. But it's going to work out fine, guys. It's all going to work out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a treadmill at home, and I'm just kind of going with it because I've took like a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks of training off over the years, but I'm just kind of rolling with it because at the end of the day, everything else, because I'm relatively unaffected personally because I work from home. You know, I write and I record and stuff like that. I live by myself. I live kind of secluded. Anyway, so I'm just kind of rolling with it. I'm certainly not complaining because there's people out there that, you know, they have to run businesses and they've got they've got kids and stuff like that. I can't imagine what it's like. I mean, I'm just I'm just living it. I've been training for this for like 4 years, just, so I really sympathize for the people that are really affected with businesses and families and stuff like that. I can't imagine what it's like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the situation is, but 1/3 of the U.S. workforce is out of work right now. They're not making any money. There's, I guess they're all filing for unemployment, but the schools are all shut down. So now all these people, they're home with their kids all day, all night. The phrase cabin fever is really going to get overused very soon. And, we see movies like The Shining, the Stanley Kubrick classic from 1980, where they were all together in the Overlook Hotel over a winter.
Yeah.
And things didn't end well there. But, it's a time to reconnect with your family and everything. And a lot of people don't spend much time at home with their wife and kids and all that, and kind of forcing them together. I know it's not going to be fun for everybody, but now you guys are getting that quality family time you never, ever would have had.
For me, it really felt real when I think I landed in Chicago a couple of weeks ago for the Arnold, when I was flying out for the Arnold Classic. And I landed in Chicago and I woke, and I kind of put my phone on 150 notifications. And I was just like, what? Because you never get that many. It was all on the group chats and stuff. And everyone was, and it was Chris Griffin, actually, the first message I checked on my messenger. And he said the Arnold Expo's been cancelled. It was pretty chaotic, wasn't it? Because obviously I was out at the Arnold Classic with you covering the Arnold. That was when it really kind of hit me, really, how serious this was, But do you know anybody actually affected by this?
I know people who are out of work for sure.
No,
I don't know anyone sick. No,
sick.
Thank God. Thankfully, I don't know anybody who's been infected. Do you?
Well, no, I don't. No one personally, but I saw it. I don't know whether this is fake news, but they said Prince Charles has got it. It's just tested positive for it.
That's all. No, that's all over the real CNN and Bloomberg
is?
News. It's a real thing. Prince Charles.
Well, he's.
I got a quick question. Quick question. Help me out on this the royal family situation, because I'm a dope. So, Prince Charles, his mother is the Queen Elizabeth II or something, right?
Correct.
How old is she?
She's the Queen's like 93? No. Derek knows.
94.
94, yeah. So she better not go anywhere near Charles, because she'll be a goner.
No, I'm saying her mother was the Queen Mum, right? They call her Queen Mum?
Yeah, she died, 10 years ago? 10 years ago?
So what was she, like 120 years old?
She died, must be, say, a decade ago now.
Okay. So I'm saying she's 94.
Not to laugh about
Prince
that.
Charles has been waiting. Prince Charles is like 70, correct? Something like that?
He needs to be careful, because the thing is, he's the one, because I think people over 8, is it people over 70, people over 80, there's an 80% chance that they'll die if they get it. So he's
I'm not worried about the coronavirus and the royal family. I'm saying,
all right,
when's this guy get to be king? Because his mother's seems like she's living forever.
Well, maybe he should go visit the Queen, and maybe he'll be king a lot quicker.
Yeah, but so then he gets to be king, let's say when he's 75 years old.
Yeah.
And then what these Prince Harry, and what's the other one?
Well, Prince
William?
Harry's buggered off to Canada, isn't he? He's not really bothered. He's renounced his royal status, isn't he?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what happens when.
Yeah.
All right, we're off topic. I just needed a little clarification on your royals there.
Well, being a royal expert, I can really help you out with this one, But thing is that nothing's really happened since the Arnold Classic. Oh, the Arnold Australia. Did you notice the amateur show still went ahead? Yeah,
to Tony Doherty's credit, and I don't know how many of the amateurs from other countries were unable to make it over there to Melbourne to compete. But to his credit, he still kept the show going. Because can you imagine? You've competed. You know what it's like to go through that entire prep, and then at the very last minute, sorry guys, show's canceled.
Yeah,
man, it would just break your heart. It would crush you, because all that time, effort, money, sacrifice down the tube. So we're bummed that we didn't get to see the pro show, because there were some people like, I wanted to see Blessing make his pro debut. I definitely was looking forward to that.
Was it the Arnold Australia he was doing as his pro debut?
Yeah.
Blessing, I would debut. Yeah, because I remember I interviewed him at the Arnold Europe back in 2017, and I remember one of the staff members told me off and said, "No, Giles, you just need to interview the pros." And I said, "No, look, this guy has just won, I think he'd won 3 or 4 overall amateur championships, like the Europeans, the Arnold Europe." And I said, "Look, this guy he's eligible to turn pro, so he's probably going to turn pro at any year." So it's good to see that he's now moved to America and he's doing really well. And have you seen his? I'm not like crazy about a lot of his YouTube, a lot of his Instagram posts though. I like the rap one. Like the rap video was good with the whey protein. That was quite good.
You know, it's a persona. He does pranks and he does really outrageous things like the horse. He puts on a horse mask and runs around screaming at people and puts a bunch of white powder on his face. He does, and probably the most controversial one was him with the chimpanzees and the bananas.
I've not seen that one. I've not seen that one, and I don't think I'd approve of that one.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't see that one. But he has 1.5 million Instagram followers.
Okay.
So he's doing something right. He's playing the social media game to the hilt, and he's doing well. But yeah, I agree. It's goofy. It's ridiculous. But you know, well, he's still a very good bodybuilder.
And we criticize these guys for having no personality sometimes. So I suppose if he's got yeah. So how do you think
these guys will put you to sleep? But he.
Oh God, yeah. Do you rate him as a bodybuilder? Do you rate his physique? Do you know much about him? Because I saw Aaron had done a little video of him doing like a raidable bicep, and I thought, yeah, he's made some good gains there. He's got a good structure. He's quite tall. He's very wide. He's a big kid. I'm anxious to see how he'll look on stage, you know, and stack up against the other guys because he's still quite young. I remember when he used to live in Ireland because he was in Dublin.
Right.
Yeah,
he's I think he's only 28 or 29.
Yeah,
but
he's perfect age.
Structurally, shape, he's got beautiful structure and shape. Upper body is. He put up on the Redcon Instagram today. There was some posing footage of him. His back is really wide and thick. Great back, low lat insertion. I'd like to see bigger legs on him to match that upper body. But you know, I say that a lot. So yeah, once he gets those legs up just a little bit more to balance out. But we didn't get to. We wanted to see how he stacked up against those guys, and we'll have to wait. You know, we don't know this whole contest season.
I know.
As it stands now, where the NPC and IFBB in the U.S. they're planning to start holding events after May 10th, but you know we can't plan on anything right now. There's no set date, even though you know Trump's trying to make a date where everything's going to open up again. But life and death is a little more important than other things right now.
What's your personal feeling on what will happen with the New York Pro?
I sincerely hope it goes on as planned because it's one of my favorite. It's the three big shows I love going to are Olympia, Arnold, and New York Pro. In New York Pro, I can drive to that. It's the whole East Coast bodybuilding and fitness family. I know everybody there.
Yeah.
It's a good time. The New York fans and the New Jersey people, Connecticut, they're very, very vocal, enthusiastic. Give a lot of support to the competitors.
Yeah,
it's a good time. I really hope Steve's show goes off.
Yeah, what's happening with this Boston show? Because that's later in the year, isn't it?
That is June 20th. So far so good on that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean I'm holding off on. I definitely want to talk to the promoter and get an interview and everything, but I'm holding off to see what the heck's going on. But interestingly enough, so that's June 20th in Boston, the Boston Pro, which has I believe every single division. For the IFBB Pro League. And a week later, they rescheduled because we were supposed to have the Jay Cutler Classic here in Boston. April 24th, I think it was, or 7th. Anyway, they rescheduled that to 1 week after Boston Pro. So June 27th. So, you know, God willing, everything's going to be open for business.
I was talking to a judge about this the other day. I was like, when they kind of condense all the shows like till like post June, you're going to get 2 to 3 times as many shows. How are they going to have judges and enough sponsors? I don't see how they're going to be able to cram all those shows in. I mean, you can probably get like weekends where there's maybe 2, 3, 4 shows a weekend. You know, it's going to go. I'm worried.
Yeah, the judges. I didn't think about that because you do have the same judging panel at most of these shows. So they're going to have to call in the reserves, you know, the reserve judges. They must be like waiting in the wings.
There's a good opportunity for new judges to step in. You know,
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll do it if they feed me. I'm not sitting there for 12 hours and you're not feeding me. Feed me, let me poop and pee when I need to, and we're good.
The thing is, I was supposed to be going to Cyprus on the 3rd of April because I was supposed to be hosting my first Pro League show in Cyprus, NPC Worldwide. So I had all my flights have been booked for like the past couple of months. My hotels are all booked and paid for. It's like I spoke to Mo Al-Masawi, the New Zealand pro promoter. He's one of the partners with Avramis Kyriakou in Cyprus. Obviously, you know, my dad lives there. And he was saying, I said to him I spoke to him probably 2 weeks ago, and he said, look, this was 2 weeks ago, and obviously a lot has changed. And then he said, I think we're probably going to put the show back either 1 week to April 17th and 18th. So there's no way that's happening, or we're going to push it back to November. So I think November's a more likely scenario now. So I was
you know what I see happening is post Olympia we always have a few shows.
Yeah.
I bet this year post Olympia we're gonna have like 20 shows after the Olympia.
Yeah. They should have them after the Olympia and get do it like they did the old Grand Prix tours in the 90s. Right.
But you're gonna have to consolidate. There's gonna be 2 or 3 pro shows in the same weekend sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's good because then if
they don't plan on canceling anything, everything's gonna be pushed back. They're going to have, there's going to be weekends later on this year where 2, 3 shows are happening. It's the only way it's going to work.
Now, I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but I wrote in my MD Global Muscle Buzz column, I was talking about the, what are they going to do with the Olympic qualification system now? Because just say for argument's sake, you've got 10 to 12 people already qualified for the Olympia.
Yeah.
If there's no shows till June, you've got 2 or 3 months. You've got a lot less shows there for people to qualify. It's like I was talking to Rami's manager, Big Rami's manager, saying that Rami was supposed to be going to Australia to try and qualify for the Arnold Australia. Now that's obviously not going to happen. So where does Rami now qualify? I mean, does he stay on prep and does he till June or July, or does he go on another prep? I mean, surely what do you think they should do? Personally, I think they should relax the qualification system like it was where top 3 or top 5 go through in the big shows and the second tier shows like top 3, or
they will.
They need to send out, like, make it like the Arnold and make it an invitational and send out like a dozen invites to the people that are more statistically higher up in the rankings. What do you think?
I don't think the invitational system would work because that's what really separates the Arnold Classic from the Olympia.
Just for 1 year, though. 1 year, mate. 1 year.
I don't think they want to confuse it. What they will do is they'll adjust the qualification, the point system. Maybe they'll say now top 3 from the Arnold Classic, from top 2 from all pro shows.
Yeah,
they'll ease it up. They'll include more people so that you can get more people, because they can't make an invitation only, because that's the Olympia has traditionally been a show where you earn your spot there. They're not going to change that.
Yeah, but if the qualification goes to shows that have already been, then isn't that kind of already an invitational? So if you say all the shows after last year's Olympia, not just the winner goes through, but we'll invite the top 3, then that's kind of like having an invitational, isn't it? It's kind of a compromise, isn't it? What do you think?
Well, it's not. It's an extension of the current system where they're easing up the restrictions and making it easier to qualify by allowing more people to qualify. And I think that's the way to go. I think that's what they will do. But they'll make an announcement once shows are able to be held again. Yeah. I think they'll very quickly, because they're scrambling. I mean, the Olympia, it seems like it's a long time away. It's almost 6 months away still. But 6 months, when you're planning an event of that scope and magnitude with that many people and moving parts, there's no time to waste. So they're gonna have to scramble and get something like that in place so the athletes know exactly what the situation is.
What do you think is going to happen with the Olympia? Do you think it's going to go ahead? I mean, it's when do you think really? I think it's all guesswork. When do you think maybe things are going to start to kind of get back to normal with shows? And do you think they're going to do? And do you think they'll do what they did at the Arnold and not let spectators at the judging? But I don't know how this is going to work.
It's all going to depend on what happens with this pandemic and what the contagion levels. Do we see a spike and then it goes down? Like I said, the U.S. has been pretty slow to respond and put things into place like lockdown that should have already been put into place. So I'm a little worried about what's going to happen here overall in the U.S. I think we dragged our feet. We don't have enough.
I don't know.
Just like medical supplies, ventilators. If things get out of hand, it's gonna be bad.
Well, but you guys shut your gyms and your public place. Like I interviewed Ronnie last week, Ronnie Coleman, and this was a week ago, and he said restaurants, gyms, cinemas are all shut, and that was probably close to a week before the UK did that. So you're not really dragging your feet. I mean, the thing is, things are changing so quick, and so every single day. It seems to be like a new dynamic,
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We're all hoping for the best.
Yeah.
But it's a day by day situation. Every day we're all checking the news and we're all wondering what's happening now. Yeah. What's the stats? Everyone's looking at stats every day. How many infections? How many cases? How many deaths? Those are like the 2 biggest numbers in everyone's minds right now.
Plus, I mean, a lot of the guys can't even get to a gym, can they? I was speaking to Flex Lewis yesterday, and he's he's very fortunate because he has his own gym that's a private training studio anyway. So he can just get the keys and go and train when he wants. He could be the only one in there, just him and his training partner, you know? He could just be him, De La Rosa and Brandeo, and no one would know. It's kind of, it's you know, I suppose that's the benefit to having like a home gym or your own gym.
I've talked to a few pros who either on the record or off the record told me they're still able to get into their gym, even though nobody else is.
Yeah.
Because they're very good friends with the owners, and maybe they're going in at 9 o'clock at night. And it seems like the majority of the pros I talk to, they're not stuck doing home workouts. They have access to either a small private gym like a studio for personal training, or a larger gym is letting them in at odd hours. You know, that most of them are, because it's their job, and I understand. You know, we love to train, but we're not getting paid to be big and buff. These people are. That's their livelihood. So I give them a pass as long as I just, you know, I got aggravated because there were gyms here that were staying open.
Yeah.
And they were getting around the policy by only allowing, at the time, you know, we just limited public gatherings to 10 or more.
Yeah.
But for a week or so before that, it was 25 or more. So several local gyms were making appointments. You could train. You had to make an appointment and reserve your spot for 45 minutes or an hour. And I got irate at a local pro. You've never heard of him. You're never going to hear about him. He's not very good. But a local pro who was bragging about it. I'm still going to 3 different gyms. Okay. And he's got a wife and 2 or 3 small kids at home. I'm like, you are the most selfish bastard I've ever heard of. You could easily, because he's like, well, I'm a bodybuilder, I'm healthy, I'm strong. I said, yeah, you could bring it home to your kids, and one of your kids dies. How are you going to feel about that? Yeah. You had to get your proper chest workout with your hammer strength and this and then dumbbells up to 140, and your kid's dead. You know, I mean, I think put things in perspective.
I'm going to get a bit Jordan Peterson here, but I think it all comes down to individual responsibility. I mean, like I went out yesterday. I went to the pharmacy to order my insulin because I'm diabetic, and there was chairs where you had to stand by if there was 3 people, only 3 people were allowed in the pharmacy at any one time to put your prescription in. And you had to stand by one of the chairs that were like placed 2 meters apart. It was really like, and everyone had gloves and masks on and stuff. It was like something out of a film, you know? And then I went to the supermarket, and instead of getting like 2 days worth of food, I tried to get 4 days worth of food. And it was funny because as soon as you walked into the supermarket, you're getting the gel on your hands, which smelled really nice. And, which you can't buy for love or money. And then I went and literally, and it's funny because everyone was just giving each other a wide berth. And do you know what? I quite liked it. I thought it was good. I thought everyone seemed to be people seem to be taking it seriously.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're not taking it seriously now, when are you going to wait until there's bodies stacked in the streets? Is that when you're going to take it seriously?
Yeah. And I'll be honest. They have shut the Nando's as well, mate.
Oh, no Nando.
I know.
Not even you can't have like delivery, takeout?
That's a good point. What?
Yeah, because restaurants here, they're shut. You can't dine indoors.
Are you sure you didn't bring it in?
You can't. No Nando's. Oh, I'm sorry, Giles. I know you. That's your sustenance. That keeps you going every day, Nando's.
You're fired.
He's just a messenger. Kaleem is just a messenger, Giles. Don't shoot Kaleem.
It could be a super carrier. Sorry, I don't mean to be light of it. I don't mean to be light of it, but you know us Brits. It's like, it's just, and also a big tip: stay off Facebook when this is all going on, because it kind of, if a situation like this brings out the best in people, but it also brings out the worst in people, if you want the worst of people, go to Facebook. Seriously. Oh, you can bleep that out, by the way.
What annoys you most that you've been seeing on Facebook?
Just your selfies, really.
Well, you know, I'm not going to let a plague stop my selfies. Come on.
I got a bit calmer. I got cramp in my abs there. Yeah, no. It's I think it's just all the I think someone said there was a tanker train, you know, a train tanker thingy, and it said COVID-19, and they're saying, look, they've been manufacturing. I'm saying, look, if they manufactured it, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't label something they're trying to smuggle in. It's like if you sent like a drug package, you know, like trying to smuggle cocaine into a country, you wouldn't write on it cocaine on the bloody, you know, it's like, come on, guys. Jesus.
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy. Tell me, does it bother you to see all the home, you know, Instagram, and especially Instagram is flooded right now with everybody working out at home.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Every post you see is somebody doing push-ups or whatever at home. And
I mean,
I commend you all. I commend you guys for training at
Yeah.
home, but enough is enough. Come
do
on.
we need to see it on Instagram Live? I mean, literally everything when I'm on my Instagram, every 2 seconds it's Instagram, and sometimes when you're like trying to upload your stories in the morning, you'll click on it, and it accidentally taps onto someone's homework, and it's just them doing pull-ups on a chin-up, and it's like, mate, I'm not really. I mean, I just think that's a bit lame. I don't know. I think people. Thing is, people are kind of all they're struggling. A lot of people are struggling. You know, it's
They're bored. They're at home. They have nothing to do.
I know. It's like I'm lucky. I've got a big comic room. I've got I've got my pets, and I can play with my snake and my cats, and I've got a nice big what.
You're also still working, Giles. That's the key thing. You're being productive, and you have things to do. A lot of these people, they got nothing to do right now. Nothing.
I mean, and also I really enjoyed writing that cover feature for MD last week. Thank you. Yeah, we won't spoil the surprise. I was really happy with that. So that thing, like, I find when I'm working and stuff like that, it does take my mind off things, and it does kind of like. I find the best thing with anything, it's like anything, you have to stay in a routine, because I have a treadmill in my house, like a proper gym style Star Trek treadmill, and I do my cardio. I eat at the same times. The only real change to my life is I'm just not weight training, So I just wish I had that old weight set, the old sand-filled dumbbells.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have anything at all. I mean, yeah, I wish I still had my old weight bench from 1,000 years ago, but no, it's long gone. It's funny.
I thought that was a plate behind you, that blue thing, but it's actually just a bag, isn't it? I thought it was a weight set over your left shoulder.
Oh no, I have. That's kicking. They can't see it. I don't think. I hope not. I hope they can't see my messy office. That's a kicking shield from kickboxing days.
We can see your messy.
But I have dumbbell. You can see my whole office, man. You got to crop that out.
We'll crop it. Don't worry. We'll crop it with the magic of editing.
Yeah, people can't see. I live in my room looks like a hoarder. But I like that.
I like the trophy down the floor. It's nice.
I got a bunch of trophies scattered around from the old days. My brother-in-law called me up a few days ago, and he said, "Do you have an extra weight bench and weights?"
What?
I'm thinking extra? Yeah, I have all. Come on, what do you think? I have a sporting goods store in my house? Come on, extra.
Yeah. But you know what? From the ages of 13 to 23, I only ever trained arms at home. So because I had a barbell set with like 50, 60 kilos. So I do barbell curls, incline dumbbell curls. I do line extensions with an easy bar, and I used to do bench dips and I put my feet up on the fire. And dumbbell kickbacks, and that was my arm routine for 10 years. So I think you can get in. Like, I've seen people making sort of makeshift sort of weight sets, and I think it's great. I think it's great. At the end of the day, because like things with me, I'm diabetic, and I have to stay on top of my weight and my cardio, or I do find that like yesterday, my blood sugar started to climb, even though I bumped my cardio up and my diet is good. It's just I need to do both to kind of stay kind of healthy, So. Okay, Ron, sorry, we're talking about playing with my snake there, mate, but because I'm in isolation here, in self-isolation. So, yeah. So, I mean, obviously you're okay because you're just working from home, and have you spoke to many of the athletes? Have you heard about what's going on with them, or are they just, like you said, they're still managing to get to the gym, some of them, on the slide?
Some of them, yeah, not all of them. I'm getting a lot of messages from athletes, pros and amateurs, and they're asking me, I was prepping for this show and it's canceled. Do you think I should aim for this show or that show? Stay on prep. And, obviously I say I'm not your coach, but here's my 2 cents. I wouldn't count on any particular show right now. The best thing you can do, this is some real talk. If it offends anybody about the gear and all that, I'm sorry. But if you're in contest prep right now and your show was canceled or you don't know when it's going to happen, contest prep cycles are the heaviest, the most expensive. They're the most dangerous to your health. I tell everyone, get off that right now. Go back to a very bare minimum amount of gear, like TRT levels. Get off all your clen, your thyroid. Get off all that stuff, because there's no reason to be on heavy contest prep cycles when you don't know when you're going to compete. I wouldn't go off your diet. I tell them, keep eating clean. I'd probably cut back on the cardio, because if you're very close to contest condition, you can only hold that for a certain amount of time before your body starts just rebelling. And also, being super lean and depleted and low calories, all that, it's tough on your immune system, and you don't want anything. You don't want to have a compromised immune system right now. This is probably the worst time in history.
Yeah.
Well, in our lifetime. to have a compromised immune system.
I would agree, and I would agree definitely on the TRT, because if you stop it dead, because I always used to get ill like after a show, right after a show, because I would very rarely, when I used to compete, I would very rarely TRT. So I would either do a very, very strong PCT, because if your testosterone levels are low, your immune system's low. It's like my diabetes hit me when I came off all gear after my last contest. Oh, wow. That's when it hit me and I got really sick. And I've had it before where I've been kind of, and also mentally as well, because if you crash off everything now, and with everything going on around the world, you know, it's like it could get to you. So I would, if you can train, if you can do cardio, I think I would just say stay on it. Definitely keep taking the supplements, and also take supplements. It's like I'm not taking supplements at the moment, but I'm really making a conscious effort to keep my diet as varied as possible. Like I'm eating a lot of at least four or five veg, at least 3 or 4 fruits a day. You know, I'm trying to go organic where I can. I'm trying to just keep the diet as varied and kind of healthy as possible at the moment. Drinking lots of fluid, lots of green tea, a lot of immune system, anything like immune system support, B vitamins, vitamin C's, zinc. ZMA, stuff like that. I just honestly, I would really recommend it. What do you think about proteins? Would you keep the proteins high?
I would lower it, because it depends on your situation. If you're one of those people that has some full home gym set up and you're really not missing a beat with your training, you can keep everything the same. But most of us are not in that situation. We're not going to be training as much. We're not going to be training as heavy. So you probably don't need 400 grams of protein a day at this time. I would also say eat clean and keep up your cardio. Yeah. Even if you don't have any weights, you don't need weights. You know, you could be doing jumping jacks or running in place in a little padded cell for cardio if you really had to. So there's no reason, guys, to drop off in your cardio. The reason you want to stay lean and not let yourself gain, because a lot of people they call it quarantine snacking. They're home and they're just eating and they're putting on fat right now. If you're going to be losing muscle, and most bodybuilders, unfortunately, during this time, you're going to lose some muscle if you don't have access to heavy weights, and you're going to cut back on your gear as you should, cut back on your food as you should, because your activity level. You want to stay lean, because if you're losing muscle and gaining fat, you're going to feel even worse when you look in the mirror. So at least if you're lean, you're a little smaller, but hey, well, look at my abs. Hey, there's a vein that I hadn't seen. It's it's just common sense.
Thing is, you're saying about people snacking. What do you think about things like emotional eating? Because that's clearly, it's probably because of boredom, because of the fact they're at home. You know, people are a little bit anxious, and a lot of people have food issues. The first thing they're going to go for is bad food. And I can't think of anything worse right now for your immune system to be snacking on bad foods. I mean, the thing is how it's a mental health issue, because a lot of people are very anxious at the moment, you know. Like you said, a lot of people are worried about losing muscle. And for a lot of people, that's a big deal, you know. I mean, if this had happened to me like 10, 15 years ago, I'd have been very stressed about not being able to get to the gym, not being able to train, needing that daily kind of training session where I need to vent and kind of switch off and kind of get that mental flushing, you know. It's like it's a tough one, you know. So, I mean, I don't know what to advise in terms of mental health, but I think for me, personally, I just think the thing I can advise from a personal standpoint is things like stay in a routine. Stay in a very strict routine as best you can. I always plan my days out the day before. 10 o'clock when I usually get home from the gym, I will plan my next day out. And it's not just work, but things that like work, leisure, you know, things around the house, you know, it's like everything. It's just my full life is laid out the next day, and it helps me stay structured, and it keeps me on path. Because if I don't do that, I find I have very bad days, you know. And especially with this going on, you know, so it's tricky.
I think anyone who's taken out of their normal routine, it's going to result in anxiety. If you're used to being out of your house at work all day, going to the gym, going to a workplace, and being around all these people, and now suddenly you're shuttered inside a home with, you know, maybe you live alone. I feel bad. I feel worse for the people that live alone and have nobody to really lean on during this time, because you could lose your mind. You'd be climbing the walls. It's going to take a toll on a lot of people's emotional health. But like you said, if you can give yourself a routine, you won't be sitting around just, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because that's the worst thing. You're at a loss.
Yeah. I mean, I I mean, I think a lot of people, especially in the UK, are really uncertain about what they can do. It's like, are they, because they said in the rulings, in the government rulings, said, you can go out for once per day for exercise only. And it's like, well, how do you even? I just hope people take individual responsibility and just kind of adhere to that, because it's tough. I mean, physically losing a bit of muscle, like I said, it's a bigger deal for some people than it is for others. But I suppose people have just got to try and cope as best they can. I think it's and I feel bad as well for the bodybuilding competitors, that have like there's bodybuilders that literally found out a week before or a few days before their prep that they weren't able to compete. And you imagine putting you and I have prepped 3-4 months in money, time, effort, sacrifice, and time away from your family and your friends and going out and. You haven't. It's like all that literally going down. I remember once my first contest, and I remember I was stressed when at 6 weeks out from the show, because I did a 12-week prep. They said, "Oh, the show's now a week later," and I remember thinking, "Oh no, shit! I've got to prep an extra week now. I had to prep 13 weeks instead of 12." I mean, it's just. I mean, to sort of have the rug pulled out like that when you've. It's just, but it's, to be honest, though, I think I've seen a lot of positivity from most of the bodybuilding competitors, because I think bodybuilders are they're strong-minded people. And I think overall, I mean, I hopefully that's how they really feel, but I've seen a lot of positivity. There was an Australian bodybuilder, the Greek name, Jake, something Apocropoulos, something like that. I can't see the Greek name. But, they were saying...
Acropolis.
Something like that, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And I read some of his posts, and, and he got to guest pose at the Arnold Australia Amateur. So at least he got to kind of display his physique, but a lot of people have been very kind of, well, let's, I think maybe they're seeing the bigger picture, You
have to, because this is not, I think the one thing that should give everyone some sort of relief is that it's not just you going through this. This is this is global, MD Global. This is the whole world. It's not just your town. It's not just your state or province, it's the entire world dealing with this situation right now. And everybody in the world is inconvenienced in some capacity or another right now. Nobody's living their normal daily routine right now. It's something we're just going to have to get through. It's literally a matter of life and death. We can either continue to live our lives as we usually did, and millions of people will die, or we do this temporary thing where we have to all stay inside and avoid other people. And be terribly inconvenienced in many ways, but when we get through this, we come out the other side, we're going to have a lot more people alive than we would have otherwise.
True. Plus, another thing is that there's two things about most bodybuilders. A lot of them are PTs, so they can't do that anymore. So that's their source of income gone. But also, there's all those bodybuilders that are lucky enough to be sponsored and have contracts. So I would imagine a lot of the companies, I mean, it's in their contract anyway. They're not going to be dropped just because of this kind of situation, where they can still remain to be supported by those companies. So I just, a big shout out there to all the supplement companies and the equipment companies and clothing companies that are really supporting these athletes. I think now more than ever, really, I think maybe the bodybuilders really should appreciate what they've got there with their contracted sponsors,
Absolutely.
But I think it's, I was looking forward to, I was really looking forward to seeing Ramy as well at the Arnold Australia. Because Bonac as well would have been going up against Bonac, and Ramy would have gone up against each other again there. Going back to the Arnold, I was, me, I've never been a huge Ramy fan in terms of his physique, but do you think maybe he deserves second over Dexter?
No. And it goes back to, like I said, I respect the what he's done with his physique. He's big, he's freaky. But, like you, I look at shape, I look at flow,